All right, I have been monitoring the events that are currently happening in Burkina Faso ever since on the 3rd of January 2026. I know you must have heard the report of an attempted military coup that happened in Burkina Faso over this weekend. And from what I can see, the reports are really telling and chilling. And the report has really told us that a lot have changed in Burkina Faso ever since Captain Ibrahim Traoré came into power back in September 2022. Now, I have refrained from jumping into this story, and I have to wait until I have a full picture of everything that is happening concerning this attempted or this latest attempted coup d'etat against Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Now, I have the facts, and I am about to tell you exactly what happened, how it happened, who is involved, and how Captain Ibrahim Traoré's leadership ended this coup before it even started. Now, the key actor in the center of this latest coup attempt against Traoré is a man who we all know in Burkina Faso before, because this particular guy, the guy named Paul-Henri Damiba, he was a former transitional leader of Burkina Faso. In fact, this is the same guy that Captain Ibrahim Traoré overthrew from the transitional position of Burkina Faso in 2022. So this guy has been on exile in Lomé, Togo since 2022. And it appears that during his stay in Togo, he has maintained contact with some elements inside Burkina Faso, obviously to overthrow or organize what they call a counter coup against the man who removed him from office in the first place. Now, this guy, Colonel Paul-Henri Damiba, according to reports, he was working with some elements within Burkina Faso to organize this latest coup attempt. Now, the key actors he was working with are allegedly disgruntled military personnel within Burkina Faso and some civilian collaborators. The main actors that were supposed to play a key role in this coup d'etat, surprisingly, they are the terrorist organization that has been terrorizing not just Burkina Faso, but the entire Sahel region. I'm talking about JNIM, but I like calling them JNIM for short. You must have known what they have been up to in Mali, in Burkina Faso, and even in Niger. So this terror organization has vowed to destabilize the government of Ibrahim Traoré. And it so happens to be that the man who wants to attempt a comeback to power has chosen to work with this same element in order to achieve his political objective. He's basically trying to use terrorism to remove Ibrahim Traoré from office. Now, the question I want to ask is this: how can you work with enemies of state and you think that you can succeed and remove Traoré from office and eventually stamp your feet to become the next leader of the country? How is that even going to be possible? We all know what this terrorist group has been doing in the whole of Sahel. So for a man who once sat on the same chair that Ibrahim Traoré is sitting right now to accept to work with a terror organization that has been destabilizing your own country, that goes to tell you how far some people can go in West Africa in order to gain power. This is not different from what we are seeing in the so-called democracies inside ECOWAS. The politicians can work with terrorists, bandits, any destabilizing force if it can give them power. We already have allegations like that flowing in Nigeria. We know a lot of politicians, even the current people in power right now in Nigeria, there are allegations, serious allegations, that they have a deal with these bandits and terrorists in order to gain power. Now, it always comes to bite you at the end of the day when you choose to work with this type of element. Now, this Henry Damiba, the guy who is in the center of this whole coup attempt, was coordinating with this terror organization, JNIM. The plan is simple. Take out key military personnel within the government of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a kind of stealth assassination targeting the inner circle of Captain Ibrahim Traoré. That was a plan. Then take advantage of the opportunity and activate this terror organization, this JNM, to take advantage of the instability that will come out of these assassinations. The end goal is to remove Captain Ibrahim Traoré from office. Now, how did Captain Ibrahim Traoré's government thwart this latest coup attempt before it even happened? It is simple. A lot has changed since this guy was ousted from power in 2022. Unlike other previous regimes or governments in Burkina Faso, like the guy that this Damiba himself, because he has already conducted a successful coup d'etat. This same Damiba guy, he has already conducted a successful coup attempt back in January 2022 that removed the then president Kabore from office. And just 8 months later, Captain Ibrahim Traoré conducted his own coup d'etat that removed him from office. The reason is simple. He came with the same revolutionary spirit that Captain Ibrahim Traoré is exuding right now. But what happened to him? He got involved deeply in the politics of the transition instead of fighting this terrorist organization that are making the lives of everyone in the country a living hell. So that was basically why he was removed from office, because he failed to defeat and solve the insecurity in the country. So now you must wonder, if this same guy was removed from office for his failure to solve the insecurity, the genuine problem in Burkina Faso, and now this same guy is willing to work with this same terrorist, that goes to tell you that he was never ever going to fight them in the first place. And you can agree with me, there is this popular saying in Nigeria, a popular quote by a former military leader of Nigeria, a very popular one, General Sani Abacha. He said that if insurgency lasts more than 24 hours, that the government is in on it. Although what that quote means can be debated, but the truth of the matter is this: if insurgency lasts long enough in any country, the government is probably in on it. So this same guy that claimed to fight JNM while he was in office is now willing to work with them in order to gain power. Now, Captain Ibrahim Traoré's leadership, ever since he came to power in 2022, has reorganized the entire intelligence division. Burkina Faso's National Intelligence Agency is no longer what it used to be when this guy was in power. They now have state-of-the-art technology to track security breaches, not just thwarting coup d'etat. They now have this capability to know when terrorists are going to strike before they even strike. And with this same capability that the intelligence agency of Burkina Faso possesses, Traoré was able to monitor the communication that Paul-Henri Damiba was having with the elements within or inside Burkina Faso. And they quietly tracked the communication. Obviously, Paul-Henri Damiba overestimated the security of the network he was using to communicate with the element he was collaborating with. And while they were planning and hashing, the government of Traoré, through his intelligence agency, was already monitoring every communication. They already know their plans. They know where they are, and they took their time. And just as they are about to strike, they picked them up one by one. Although the identities of the individuals who have been arrested in Burkina Faso has not been made public yet. But this is what we know. The coup attempt was thwarted before it happened because of the capabilities of the intelligence that is now existing in Burkina Faso. And this goes to tell you that Captain Ibrahim Traoré is not in power because he's a dictator. He's in power because he understands what power is and how to use it. Now, compare to what has been happening in Burkina Faso before Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Since 2014, there have been 3 successful coups. The first one happened, or technically it's a coup, but it was not the traditional military coup that we have come to understand right now. How it happened is this. Blaise Compaoré, the guy who assassinated Thomas Sankara, the revolutionary leader of Burkina Faso in the 80s. Now, Blaise Compaoré has been in power for 27 years. And based on the course of the leadership we have in West Africa, he decided to do what every other ECOWAS president likes to do. He was attempting to rewrite the constitution. After 27 years in power, he wanted to change the constitution in order to keep ruling indefinitely. That was his plan. But there is a problem with that plan because he's not that popular among the people of Burkina Faso. So in 2014, there was a popular uprising against Blaise Compaoré, which led to him resigning and fleeing the country to Côte d'Ivoire. He has been in exile in Côte d'Ivoire, in Ivory Coast, to this very minute right now. So after that coup of 2014, this guy, President Kabore, he came in as the leader of Burkina Faso. The same problem that they were facing under Blaise Compaoré, obviously nothing changed. Insecurity, over involvement in politics, trying to become like every other ECOWAS president. Or, yes, the problem is that the country of Burkina Faso was facing a lot of insecurity from this terrorist organization. So instead of focusing in fighting the insurgency, he was trying to play the politics of ECOWAS, entrench himself. Now, this guy, Paul-Henri Damiba, the guy who is the key figure in this latest coup attempt, said no, that this is not what should be happening in Burkina Faso right now. His rhetoric is almost similar with what Ibrahim Traoré is saying right now. But the key difference is this. He came to power in January 2022 after a successful coup against President Kabore. But what happened? He fell under the same course of ECOWAS leadership in West Africa. Instead of focusing in fighting the terrorist organization, the terrorism that is ravaging Burkina Faso, at the time, the country was 40% of the territory of Burkina Faso was under some kind of control of terrorist organizations in the country. So Captain Ibrahim Traoré saw what was happening and he decided that, no, this guy has betrayed the cause. He has to go. And there was a counter coup in September 2022, which was successful and resulted in the overthrow of Paul-Henri Damiba. And just like Blaise Compaoré, he fled in exile. He has been in Lomé since then on exile. So this coup attempt that was thwarted happens to be like a counter coup, like a revenge coup, in order to remove the guy who removed him from power in 2022. But now, things have changed since 2022 because back then, there is no alliance of Sahel states. There was no confederation between Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. And Russia's footprint in the Sahel was not that entrenched like we are seeing right now. So things have changed. This coup may have succeeded, this kind of coup may have succeeded in 2022. But in 2026, there is no chance that it is going to succeed because the people of Burkina Faso are solidly behind Captain Ibrahim Traoré. How do I know this? Because this weekend, when the news of this coup attempt broke, you won't believe what happened. The people of Burkina Faso came out in their numbers in Bobo de Lasso and Ouagadougou, two of the major cities in the country, and some other smaller towns. They were marching in solidarity behind Captain Ibrahim Traoré, and they were protesting or stamping their feet against any attempt to remove him from office. That is the kind of popular support that Captain Ibrahim Traoré have from the people of Burkina Faso. Now, even if, hypothetically speaking, the coup attempt succeeded, the people of Burkina Faso will not allow it to stand. The guy will not last 24 hours in power if he even succeed in coming that far. So, what is keeping Traoré in power is more than just guns, intelligence, or military capabilities. What is keeping him in power is the popular support he is enjoying from the people of Burkina Faso. And now, that popular support that Captain Ibrahim Traoré is enjoying right now is more than any kind of support any election can give to any leader in West Africa right now. Yeah, you might say Burkina Faso is not a democracy because it was not elections, democratic elections, that brought Captain Ibrahim Traoré to power. But let's face fact. What is democracy? Democracy is a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And the people of Burkina Faso are coming out on the street and telling you that what they want is Captain Ibrahim Traoré. What is more democratic than that? That is one thing Western media or Western powers don't understand in the Sahel. They always believe that a country should have an election. Yes, in a normal continent and in a normal region, it is good to have elections. But right now in West Africa, tell me, what election is credible in West Africa? They always end up suspending their opponents. They bar opposition from contesting, and they change constitutions in order to keep contesting even after their tenure or their term expires. They find a way to cling to power. They change age limits, or they flat out rig the whole election in order to remain in power. Compare that to the popular support we see in Burkina Faso. You can't tell me that Captain Ibrahim Traoré is not democratic, because democracy is all about the will of the people. And the people of Burkina Faso are saying, we want this guy. Why do they keep trying to thwart the will of the people in Burkina Faso? Now you may say, France, there is no evidence linking France to this. But I can tell you, if you want to know the people that are behind this, check Western media and see if this latest attempt was even reported. I search across Western media. There is rarely any coverage of this coup attempt in Burkina Faso. These same Western media are always quick to report terror activities. They always quick to report suicide bombing or any activities of jihadism in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. They are always quick to tell you the severity of the fuel convoy in Mali. They are always quick to report every terror sabotage operation that is going on. But now there is a successful preemptive strike, thwarting of a coup attempt, and they are silent. What does that tell you? It tells you that they are in on it. They want to remove Traoré by any means necessary. That is the game. And when you look at it from the broader perspective of everything that is happening in the world right now, you will see that it is too close to be a coincidence. It is not a coincidence. Right now, as we speak, I reported it yesterday, the president of Venezuela has been kidnapped and he is going to face a kind of trumped-up charges in the US today. As I speak to you right now, the build-up against Iran is happening. These are the axes of resistance, and Venezuela, their key allies in the Americas, has been invaded by the United States. At the same time, there is a coup attempt against Captain Ibrahim Traoré. You might see it as a scattered event, unrelated. But when you piece it together, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. It is not a coincidence. It is a coordinated attack against any resistance against the empire. Yes, it is a coordinated attack. You might say, where is the proof? Look at the news, search what is Rita saying about this successful thwarting of a coup attempt before it even happens. What is Western media saying about it? They are basically quiet and silent. That is to tell you that it is not a coincidence. It is all planned. And the people of Burkina Faso are saying they don't want anyone but Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Now, there is one key aspect of this event that I want to talk about. It is Togo. This guy is in Togo. He is in exile in Togo. And from inside Togo, he is planning a coup attempt. Now, the government of Captain Ibrahim Traoré has not publicly denounced or accused Togo of being aware of what is happening within their territory. But I can tell you from my own point of view that even though Faure Gnassingbé, the president of the Council of Ministers of Togo, is pretending or appearing to be the friend of the AES. But right now, a coup attempt is being planned from inside your territory. How can you not know and aware of that? Yes, these are the things we should consider whenever they come up with this idea of Togo planning to join the AES. I always tell you that this guy is playing both teams. He's playing for both Russia and he's playing for France. It is all connected. And the guy that attempted the coup in Benin Republic, reports said he also fled to Togo. So now this guy, he's basically harboring dissidents from both ECOWAS and the Alliance of Sahel States. Any wanted man from ECOWAS or Alliance of Sahel States will get a sanctuary in Togo. So these are the kind of things that I am noticing from the government of Faure Gnassingbé. He is playing both sides. This is my own humble personal opinion because the government of Burkina Faso has not publicly condemned Togo for what just happened. But I am saying that this is a pattern I am seeing. So when next there are news or rumors of Togo planning to join the AES, just know it's part of the propaganda. They are playing both teams, make every side happy, and it's all about him clinging to power. So while we are all discussing this coup attempt, we should not take our eyes off Faure Gnassingbé in Togo, and we have to understand exactly the role he is playing in West Africa. So this is sophisticated. It is not your usual thwarting of a coup attempt we just witnessed in Burkina Faso. And I might add, there was no shot fired because there was no opportunity for any shot to be fired. Because before they could even fire any shot, they have been arrested and the coup has been neutralized. It means that the intelligence agency in Burkina Faso is alive and well, and they are now using preemptive strikes to not just thwart coup attempts, but terror activities inside Burkina Faso. And based on this same intelligence, Burkina Faso has been successfully launching drone attacks in terror strongholds in Burkina Faso. and the failures of the previous regimes that was overthrown for not fighting insecurity. Traoré is correcting it right now. That is why the people of Burkina Faso are behind him. That is why he is enjoying the popular support that he is enjoying from the Burkina-based citizens, because he's taking the fight to the enemies of the state, and he's also at the same time making sure that any coup attempt against this revolutionary government will be thwarted before it even succeeds. That is the reality on ground right now. So Paul-Henri Damiba should know that this is not 2022. This is 2026. It is not when the military was fragmented. It is not when the military hierarchy are disloyal to the transition government. The loyalty right now is top-notch. You cannot crack it. And the intelligence of Burkina Faso is highly sophisticated right now. So it is no longer 2022. A coup will hardly succeed right now against Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso. What do you think about this event? Tell us in the comment section. And if you want to continue to see my content, maybe consider to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of my episode. I am still your host, Ezekiel Enejeta, and I will see you in the next one. It's a bye-bye for now.